What's up, everybody? Renfail here, and Paizo just dropped the second draft of the ORC license over on their website as of 1 p.m. Pacific on May 15th, 2023. I've not read through anything yet. I'm doing this along with everybody else because I'm literally recording this 2 minutes after. So we're going to go through this together. We're going to see what it says. As always, I'm going to do an initial reaction to things right now live as I'm going through it, as things are, freshly available. And then after the fact, I'll be collecting my thoughts and doing a deep dive a few days down the road after I've really had time to sink my teeth into all the commentary and also to check out what's going on over in the ORC Discord channel to see what sort of feedback the community is providing and kind of incorporate that into a broader deep dive into the second draft. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this. It says here back in January, this is sort of stuff we already know. Paizo and Alliance of more than 1,500 game publishers announced their intention to support the development of an open RPG creative ORC. Blah, 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 blah. Scroll down from all that. This second draft incorporates changes and suggestions from hundreds of participating publishers on the ORC licensed Discord community, adding significant clarity to key terms and definitions and substantially increasing the size and scope of the project's official FAQ, as well as introducing several basic quality of life improvements across the board. Here we can download a copy of the ORC license and its associated FAQ, AXE, answers explanations documents below. Our intention is to solicit final, I like how they use in quotes here, feedback on the Discord until the end of the day next Monday, May 22nd. So we literally have a week. We intend for this wave of commentary to be the last round before presenting the truly final version of the license, which we plan to release by the end of May. Our deepest thanks to all project participants. Your feedback has been valuable in making the ORC license, an ideal open gaming license that will serve the community long into the future. All right, well, let's go ahead and open up well, hang on, I don't want to actually get rid of that page. Let me open that into a new tab. All right, so this is the expanded answers and explanations page. It's published simultaneously with the license filed under the same U.S. copyright registration as this document, served as an official FAQ document for the ORC. Okay. Bum ba dum bum bum. Okay, this is. I wish they would have put. So what I don't know, and I'm not looking at it right now. I don't know how much of this is new versus how much of this was part of the original documentation because I don't have that in front of me. So I kind of wish they would have highlighted that, but it's all good. Let's there we go. Bring that up into, and it's gonna be white background, guys. I'm sorry if you're like my eyes. It go right along with my blaring white forehead from getting old and balding. Okay. We already know this part. The ORC is licensed material, broad functional elements of the game, stat blocks, game rules, etc., etc. Nothing in the ORC is known as product identity, such as trademarks, world lore, story arcs, distinctive characters, visual art. You can share that stuff into the ORC if you want to make an express declaration. Otherwise, it remains your exclusive property. Under the ORC, you can use, share, adapt, and build on the licensed material however you see fit, as long as you give proper attribution. By licensing, okay. No one has the power to change or revoke the ORC. Once the licensed material is out there, it's out there forever, as long as copyright lasts under these same terms. Okay. The official version is going to be registered with the U.S. Library of Congress through copyright registration to be used as a resource, but you'll probably be able to find it at many locations on the internet. Dun, dun, dun. So this is the notice that you would put into your product, and they give you some very basic examples here of what this is going to look like. Obviously, it will look slightly different depending on what resource material you're pulling from, especially when it comes to the expressly designated ORC content or attribution sections. If you're going to be using someone else's ORC licensed product identity and stuff like that. Why is licensing? Who controls the RC? All right, I'm going down through here. This is stuff that was published before. I do recognize this from before. Okay. I primarily produce game. This I believe is new. I primarily produce game content of a mechanical nature with very little content that could be considered product identity. With so little to hold back as mine, it feels like my publishing strategy gets fewer protections under the ORC than others who have a higher percentage of non-mechanical material. Is there a way I can designate more of my mechanical content as product identity? No. While creating this type of mechanical content may involve just as much effort as product identity, copyright protection is not based on quote unquote sweat of the brow. I love I love it. All users of the ORC license agree to contribute all of their mechanical content to downstream users. If that contribution does not fit your publishing strategy or you feel that doing so is too generous, it is likely that the ORC is likely not for you. That's very, very important to have them say that. So this is the new part. I do recognize everything up until this point because I remember covering up into the SRD. I've created an entire book of spells and want to include within the work a spell from another product under the ORC. Does this require that all of the other rules mechanics in my spellbook are automatically available for downstream users to reference and use in their product? Yep. Using the ORC license within a work means licensing the relevant portions of the entire work. So people are trying to, cherry pick the things that they want to make available, and that's not quite how this works. If you're going to use the license, then everything you're using becomes available to everybody. What is the precise line between licensed content and product identity within the context of a spell description? I understand that the spell's range and area and numerical effects would be considered licensed content, but what about descriptive text, such as the manifestation of a baleful howl, or flavor about how the spell has a physical appearance of a beam of sickly green light? The license clarifies that product identity is, quote, not essential to or can be varied without altering, unquote, the game. So if the baleful nature of the howl or the color of the light affects the gameplay, then it is licensed content. It is the intention of the ORC that licensed content is a broad definition that includes physical and visual descriptive language supporting the mechanical nuts and bolts game content, including the aforementioned baleful howl and beam of sickly green light. The exception here comes in form of product identity, which can include the name of a famous wizard, such as Blimble's Bursting Bunyan, or the detail that a certain spell was originally developed by the fell brethren of Bonnie Burbleston, etc. This one was already answered before, but the RPG based on Hollywood blockbuster. Can I say which primary game or product deals with it? Yep. Can I publish a product that uses both the ORC and the open game license? I think this is a new one. You can always license out your own original game system for third parties to use under more than one license. Licensing out derivative content if you license in someone else's game mechanics as part of your product. You can't roll that content over the ORC unless the licensor and all licensors before you contribute to that system for whom you license the content also agree to the transition. That's very straightforward. You can't do it unless the people before you want to do it with you. The OGL limitations. The OGL stipulates that open game content may be only used under and in terms of the OGL section 2, so we do not see any way that open game content you get a license to use under the OGL could be licensed out by you under the ORC. Despite that, if you publish an OGL product, you would strip out any protectable expressions and release that under the ORC. Creative Commons limitations. We believe the ORC imposes different terms because it applies only to game mechanics or product identity and not all copyrighted content. Digital applications, digital rights are fully included. No, source code. So I've some of that stuff was new. Some of that stuff I recognized from the last one. All right. Now again, I don't know what has been included in here that might be new, so I'm just kind of skimming through this here. It would be nice if it was highlighted, but it's not. So, I'm gonna go check the Discord really quick and see if they still haven't made the. So I actually came upon this early enough that they haven't actually posted in the Discord yet. Hey everyone, Renfail here with the commercial part of the video where I say, hey, if you like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. And thanks to all of our supporters are here on YouTube and over on Patreon, our highest members, our guild champions, Crazy's Relative, Remy D here on YouTube. And don't forget, if you want to support, it's really easy. You can do the memberships below, the Adventurers Guild, 3 different tiers. There's also the super thanks on any uploaded video or YouTube short that you find. There's also, of course, the super chats and stickers that you could do on any live stream or premiere, and the Patreon page if you want to dive into the fantasy world that I have with my brother and my wife, which is a tabletop game, a point-and-click adventure game, and a fantasy book series. All are great ways to keep this channel going and me going full-time. Thanks again for those of you who support. Let's get back to the video that you're watching now. I'm going to probably need more time to go through this particular document because this is a much deeper document and I would have to compare it to the first one to see which things have actually been changed. I mean, it's not a huge document at this point in time, but I just don't know at first glance what has I know they further clarified some things. Just gonna scan through this really quick. Product identity shall no event include elements that have been previously designated as licensed material and that are adapted licensed material that constitute third product identity or that are in the public domain. That's a very good distinction. I don't remember that being in the first one. I could be wrong, but public domain stuff, that's public domain that can't be um, it can't be product identity that you own. I mean, Sherlock Holmes being in the public domain now does not mean that you can claim Sherlock Holmes as your own or any element of Sherlock Holmes. You could make content based off of that, but I don't know that you can't claim it as product identity. Licensed rights, grants and limitations. Okay. I go back to this. This is the one that people got confused over the first time. The moral rights, such as right of integrity, are not licensed under this ORC license, nor publicity, privacy, or other similar personality rights. That means there's no morality clause in the ORC. Now, someone could determine on their own that they don't want their stuff used in a certain way. They would have to reach out to the person using their content in a way that they found offensive and let them know if that was the case. So again, I'm going to have to dig into this in greater detail over the next few days to see what the differences are, but I don't want to take up any more of your time. So go over to the website. The links are down below. Dive into things at your leisure, and I'll see everybody in a few days after I've had time to dig into things in greater detail. Until then, safe gaming, everyone. Have fun.